few weeks ago, I made a cave diving horror game in 48 hours for a game jam, and I ended up winning the prize of best mechanics. What mechanic was worthy of such a prize, I hear you ask? Well, it's this visceral movement system where you physically use your mouse to crawl your way through a cave. After the jam ended, I decided I wanted to expand upon this concept and make it my first commercial game. If that sounds interesting to you, then wishlist the game using the link in the description. I'll wait. Wishlist the game.
Man, I'm gonna break my monitor, I swear!
The first thing I knew I wanted to address before I even finished the jam version was improving the movement mechanic. In the original, there was basically a set max speed that you can move. I did this to artificially make players move at a speed that felt like crawling, and to prevent players from cranking their sensitivity all the way up and doing this. This worked for the jam, but it also made the fastest form of movement be slowly dragging your mouse across the mousepad. But it's more fun and more tense if you're frantically crawling away from enemies, which makes you slower in this version. To better encourage the type of gameplay I wanted, I created a whole new input system that's based on the position of your mouse. When you first start up the game, you'll calibrate your mouse area by clicking and dragging from the top of your mouse pad to the bottom. After that, once you push your mouse forward, you will also push your arms forward in-game. And when you pull your mouse back, your arms will get pulled back. Hooking this input system up to the movement was super easy. All I had to do was make the player's position change with the position of the arms. This version felt so much better immediately, and even without any visuals implemented. With this system, there's no max speed your character moves, so the faster you move your arms, the faster you move your character. Now, frantic crawling feels good and not frustrating. This gray wasteland isn't much to look at right now, and it doesn't really illustrate the position of your hands, so I got on the ground myself and took some photos of my arms in first person. I then masked them out and threw them in an A-Sprite for pixelation and adjustments. I thought these looked really good in-game, but you may notice that there are some artifacts from where I didn't mask the images as well as I thought, so I had to go back and manually remove these artifacts by boosting the opacity of everything and then erasing these little islands. But with that fixed, having these representations in the game made it so much fun to mess around in. I spent an embarrassing amount of time playing around with this before I implemented the next feature. This feature is another thing that I knew I wanted since before I even finished the jam version. Controller support. It was actually super easy to implement. It was almost too good to be true. It was too good to be true. But we'll talk about that later. Well, since that works perfectly, it's time to move on to the next mechanic of the game. The next thing I implemented was the ability to peek behind you by holding the spacebar. The main reason I wanted to implement this was because I think it's scary when you get chased and you peek behind you and you notice that the thing that's chasing you is right there. To do this, I had to change the way that the arms worked from the jam version. In the jam version, I used Godot's built-in UI system, which would automatically scale these to your screen size, but to get the hands to not follow the camera when they look behind you, I had to use Sprite 3Ds. This means when there's different screen sizes, it doesn't actually line up properly. This is just going to be a bug I'm going to have to iron out eventually. The next thing I implemented was the ability to hold a torch in your left hand. I made this makeshift one by wrapping a black t-shirt around a stick that I found outside, and then got back on the floor to take another photo of it before doing my usual A-Sprite editing. While I was putting this into the game, I had placed an extra player into the world to test out how the torchlight would look, and I forgot to remove it when I started playing, and it ended up with this interesting bug. And I wanted to get a look at it from different angles, so I started crawling around trying to figure out the best position to look at it from. But while I was doing that, I lost it. And I knew that it was out there in the darkness somewhere, waiting, ready to jump out at me in any moment. And that was the exact kind of fear I wanted my players to feel, so I felt like I was on the right track. Right now, there's no particles or anything on the torch, so it kind of looks boo-boo, but one step at a time. I worked on visuals and environment a little bit more, and tried out Godot's built-in volumetric fog. I thought it made this pretty cool effect against the light of the torch, and the delay made a really cool effect when equipping and unequipping the torch. Unfortunately, it looked pretty bad when moving and turning, so I decided to leave it off. If you watch my video on the jam version of the game, which you totally should after you finish this one, you would know that I had the opportunity to stand over people's shoulders and watch them play my game. How is it? It's kinda... It's fun, right? Yeah, it's... You like it? Say you like it. What? I actually did get some good feedback from doing that, and not just from what people said about it, but also from observing how people played the game. It was a reminder of how much useful feedback you get from playtesting, so I wanted to do playtesting as soon as I possibly could for this version. I made and opened up this form, which you can still fill out if you want to be included in future playtests. I set up a simple tutorial section and sent off the playtest build to a friend to essentially test the test. I did this to make sure I was going to get feedback on the areas that I was hoping for, and not just dumb things I forgot about or game-breaking bugs or anything like that. Alright, so it seems like there's no game-breaking bugs, so let's export to Windows, Mac, and Linux. I deployed these on Steam, and cool, seems to work on my Windows PC. Let's check my Steam Deck, which runs Linux. It seems like controller support is broken on Linux for some reason. After hours of testing and bug fixing, I found out that the problem was that I never actually implemented controller support. Yeah, shocking. I thought I implemented controller support, but what was actually happening was my computer was detecting my controller input as mouse input, and it was basically just playing it with the mouse for some reason. So what I did next was actually implement controller support, and it worked perfectly fine on both Windows and my Steam Deck's Linux. I then sent it off to playtesters, hoping that the Mac build would work because I didn't have a way to test it. Let's take a look at the feedback I got.
Alright, I wasn't recording, but I really like this calibration here at the beginning. Like, I can already tell this feels so much better than the game jam.
The, dragging feels way less natural than it did when I was playing it at the game jam. Like, it just doesn't feel good.
The movement feels really nice, honestly. I like the controls a lot more than the first time I played this. I don't know what the correct terminology is, a build or whatever.
So forward by pulling your mouse or right stick back. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, the interesting part about this game is you do use your entire arm in calibrating the mouse, which I think is so cool.
This is going to be a workout if I do this for too long.
I think I'm getting used to the movement, getting used to like turning left, turning right.
Hold right click or left trigger to begin turning. I see. Okay, off rip, I feel like it might be more intuitive to have turning or like moving the mouse left and right be the way that you turn.
Having it be forward and backward and not left and right is a decision. It took me a minute to get used to in the game jam. At first I thought I had to swing it left and right, and I was very confused why I wasn't turning, but it just takes a little bit it's a little finicky.
I think the turning is a little bit strange. I'd rather move my mouse side to side for the turning.
I will say turning feels a little bit janky right now.
I'm a DJ.
It's the sliding up for left that is getting me, but I could see myself getting used to that over time. Hold space or down on the D-pad to peek behind you. Oh, hello. Hi, sir. I'm not gonna lie, that probably would have gotten me. If this were like 3 a.m., I would have shat myself.
Oh, I don't like that. Oh, that's fun. Okay.
That's awful. Not awful as in bad, awful as in horrifying.
Oh my god! Jump scare, dude.
Hold space or down. Oh, I hate that. That's terrifying. Okay. Hello, sir. That's horrifying. Thank you for that, Dakota. This game is gonna scare the shit out of me.
Oh yeah, and while I was waiting to get feedback back from that, I started messing around with normal maps to make the cave look a bit more textured and less flat. Once I did receive feedback, most of what I gathered was that crawling was fun, but turning sucked. But if you want to see how I implemented this feedback, you're going to have to wait until next time. In the meantime, if you think this game is cool and you want to support me, please head over to Steam and add it to your wishlist. There's a link in the description and the pinned comment. Oh, and one more thing. If you're watching this video when it comes out, then I'm live right now on Twitch working on this game. And if you missed this one, then don't worry, because I'm going to be streaming every single day at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time throughout the month of June. Come hang out, you get your own little avatar that you can mess around with, and you can make me drink water and all kinds of weird things. Bye! This gay wasteland